All right, guys. I just want to give you guys a quick introduction here. I'm starting this channel, and it's a channel about co-parenting, about me being a co-parent / weekend dad, and that's a lot of what we'll be discussing is just the difficulties and the positives and obviously the minuses of being a co-parent. But in the middle of the video, you'll see me sort of change clothes. I started at night, and then I got tired and went to bed and woke back up and fed the kids, put them to bed, put one of them to bed. You could see one back there. I came here to finish the video so we can upload it and get it out there as soon as possible. That's the girl. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. We'll see this later. This is Amelia. This is the girl. She has makeup on. She looks very beautiful in her makeup. Okay, now you look like a monster. Okay, you're a monster. So just that's a little explanation as to why you see the change. And I don't know where she got that potato chip. I'm definitely not eating potato chips while I'm sitting here. So anyway, thank you guys for watching the video. And again, here's the video. I hope you guys have a good day and enjoy the video. Peace. Okay, I wanna talk about the difficulties of being a co-parent in this video. The difficulties and the positives of being a co-parent. One of the difficulties for me is not being on the same page. And I mean, never being on the same page as the other co-parent. It seems like no matter what the topic is, it can be something as simple as what they're gonna have for lunch, as more difficult as where they're gonna go to school. But no matter what, we're never eye to eye. We just can't see eye. It could be something as simple as talking about the 13-year-old going to school. It can be like, oh, well, our 13-year-old just graduated from 8th grade and he's going on to high school. I think he's going to be great. And then she'd be like, no, I think he's done. He doesn't need any more school. And it's like, well, what do you mean he doesn't need any more school? He's 13. He can't even do his own laundry. He has difficulties making a sandwich. He doesn't know if the bread goes on top or in the middle. I mean, he's not ready for that. He has to go to high school. No, I think he's good. He needs to rest his brain. It's like we can't see eye to eye, and that's always one of the difficulties that I find. That's just very annoying. Like, it's not that difficult. He's gonna do this or she's gonna do that. Why does it have to be a struggle every time? Every time. Let's just be okay with this. Another thing is having very little communication. Very little communication with the other co-parent. I mean, there somehow seems to be little to no communication. We are responsible for this 13-year-old's life and the 4-year-old's life, and we somehow never communicate. Outside of when are you going to pick him up, or is he ready? I'm pulling up. We'd have birthdays coming up. Nothing. My 4-year-old has had like 48 parties already. She's 4. She's had 48 parties, mostly due to the lack of communication, because we cannot communicate and let each other know that there's a party and you could stop by and say hi and we'll drop some gifts, give the birthday girl a hug and move on and let the kids play. No, we all have to have our own parties. The 4-year-old on her 4th birthday had 18 parties. 18 parties on her 4th birthday. I didn't have my first birthday party till I was 24, and my girlfriend at the time threw me that party. Okay, she literally comes over and I'm like, oh yeah, we got cake for you, and she's like, no, I'm good. I've had enough cake today. And I'm like, well, what do you mean you've had enough cake? I haven't cut you any yet. It's still sitting here on the counter. It's like, no, I've had chocolate cake. I've had strawberry cake, carrot cake, German chocolate cake. I've had chocolate cake with ice cream in it. And I'm like, oh, so you don't want my cake? I mean, all I have is vanilla with some sprinkles. I didn't even have frosting. I just threw sprinkles on the cake. You don't want that? No? You never. She doesn't want that cake. Just toss it out. It's fine. Just toss it. She's good. You already had a wedding cake. She had a wedding cake for her birthday. A wedding cake? Yeah? 6-foot wedding cake for her birthday. She did. She doesn't want that thing you just pulled out of the oven. Throw it away. I don't even want that. I'm not saying it doesn't taste good. It doesn't taste good. I'm not saying it doesn't taste good. You're great. You're a great baker, but just toss it out. Do you have any more of that wedding cake left, honey? No? Okay. 18 parties. Grandpa threw her a party. Grandma threw her a party. Mother threw her a party. Great-grandma threw her a party. The neighbors threw her a party. Messages go unreplied to. Phone calls go unanswered. I mean, it's ridiculous. The other one is, this one's very difficult, is having to maintain your sanity while the other co-parent gets to be the crazy one. I mean, obviously, the sane parent is me, right? I mean, I'm the sane parent. I'm sure all of you out there, you're the sane parent and the other one's crazy. Okay, I'm sure of it. Trust me. You're very, very, very sane, as am I. But why do we have to keep our wits about us when we want to go crazy too? We want to go nuts. We want to have bursts and we want to just let it out every now and then. Let me go a little crazy. Huh? Let me go a little crazy. Let me go a little crazy. Sorry for going crazy. I just don't always want to have to be the reasonable one. Why can't I just be a little off? Why can't I just answer the phone sometimes and scream? I want to send crazy messages or not send any messages and just ignore them. Why can't I do that? Why do I got to be the reasonable one? That's very difficult to do. Maintain yourself. Keep yourself calm. Another one is having to see the other person sometimes. I feel like I see them way more than you thought you would. Having to see the other co-parent like way more than you ever thought you would. I mean, when we split, it was like, see ya. And then like 3 days later, it was like, hey, here are the kids. Like, oh, here are the kids. And then an hour later, it's like, oh, hi, yeah, here's your daughter. And then 2 days later, it's like, oh, hey, how are you doing? Here's the kids. Like, what? I sometimes I feel like I see her more than I see my kids. Sometimes she pulls up and she says, hey, and it's like, hey, where are the kids? Oh, I don't get them today. Why are you pulling up right now? What is going on? It's like, I don't understand. Why do we have to see each other so much? I'm sure partly due to that we live in close proximity to each other, so there's a whole lot of cars passing, but I feel like we see each other. Don't talk to each other, but we see each other way more than I ever thought. The other one, and this is a scary one, it can be scary. Depending on how crazy the other person is. Depending on how crazy you might be. But is not having a say when or where your kids go, right? Like, I've been camping twice in my life. Twice. Both times as a kid, and there was 4 adults when we went, okay? There was 8 kids, and there was 4 adults. 4 grown freaking adults went camping with us. So we were pretty safe. But somehow my kids come home the other day, and they're like, hi, Daddy. And I'm like, hey, how's it going? And they're like, oh, we went camping. I'm like, you went camping? Yeah. Who'd you go camping with? With Mama? Mama? Your mom? My ex? She took you guys camping? The lady who was afraid to use my debit card because if she got the PIN numbers wrong, she thought she'd be arrested? Your mom, the one who drove to the wrong house when she first got her license, the house she walks to every day, she somehow misjudged and went to the wrong house. That mom? Oh, okay. Okay, well, I guess this is where I'll kiss you guys goodbye. Um, I'm gonna miss you. And give the girl a kiss goodbye. I'm gonna miss you. To the boy, well, maybe not miss you so much, but definitely miss my princess, because this is the last time I'm gonna see you guys. If this is the woman who's taking you out into the woods, this is it. This is goodbye. Puts the kids' lives in danger and doesn't let me know. Doesn't let me know. Hey, I'm going into the woods with these kids. If something happens to me, follow the breadcrumbs, right? That's what you do when you go into the woods and you don't know what you're doing. You leave breadcrumbs. I don't think she left breadcrumbs. She might have lost the kids. She might have left one of the kids on the ground. Like, okay, well, when we see sister, we know we're coming right back to the same spot. I just don't understand why can't it just be a simple, hey, I'm taking the kids into the woods. That way I at least can alert the local authorities that, hey, there might be a family missing here in another hour or so because for some reason they decided to go into the woods. Another thing that gets me is having to explain to people that you don't have, yet you only get your kids 2 to 3 days a week. It sounds great when you're talking about the kids and they're asking you these questions and you're okay with it and you're fine, you're answering all these questions. And then as you slowly start to explain to them, it comes out little piece by piece, but they start to put it together that you don't have your kids. And they're like, you see their facial expressions start to change, the way they look at you, sort of like they tilt their head like they're trying to understand, they're trying to look at it through your angle. And somehow if they like tilt their head to the side, they'll understand. And then that's when you start to like sweat and you start to realize, oh, they're gonna start asking these weird questions, right? And they don't understand how you can have you don't have your kids all the time? Oh, what happened to you? It's like, well, nothing happened to me. Life happens. What do you mean? It's very uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable to explain to people who either A, always have their kids, or B, just think that the only people who don't have their kids all the time are unfit parents. Surely the court system stepped in and said, you know what, Mr. Matamoros, we've got to take your kids away. We'll let you see them twice a week, but you're not fit. That's the only solution they see to not having your kids is clearly the court stepped in and rushed your kids out. And I'm not opposed to that. I mean, I get them twice a week, but if the court wants to take them those 2 days, they can take them. Especially the girl. Sometimes she's, not all there. But that's a very uncomfortable thing, having to explain to people who don't know your situation, and then it comes up and you're telling these people how like, oh yeah, well, when I see my son or when I see my daughter, they look at you like, what do you mean when you see them? They're at home, right? It's like, well, they're at home, but they're got multiple homes. And they're like, well, what do you mean? The summer home? No, not summer home. Just the other home, their mom's home that's down the street. So that's very difficult when you try to explain to people, because then you start to feel embarrassed and a little insecure, and then, like I said, you start to feel the sweat and you start to get hot, and now you're looking to maybe go get lost in the woods somewhere or something. So that's always difficult, is explaining that and then get into that conversation and then trying to like talk your way out of that conversation onto something else, and it's uncomfortable. You definitely get those looks of like, you're not normal, you're not right, there's something wrong with you, mister, why don't you have your children with you? Well, first of all, you don't have those kids. If you had those kids, you would only want them twice a week too. Trust me. So one of the other annoyances is or difficulties for our family is never getting into a flow. It's like we can't get into a flow. Just as we get into a cleaning, cooking, bedtime schedule, get a little flow going, because we tend to not cook for ourselves. We usually do a lot of eating out. But as soon as we get into a flow, it's now time again for the kids to come over, which is fine. But they come over and it's like, yay, it's daddy's. We're at daddy's house, and it's like it's playtime, destruction time, no bedtime time, stay up as late as we can time, wake up as early as we can time. It's like, um, we usually eat dinner at 6:30, and then we get ready for bed, and we're just about laying down by 8:30. But by then, the girl is like wide awake. She's wide awake. She's running around. She is in no mood to be going to bed unless she's going to be jumping on it or jumping onto it from the highest dresser. It just leads to mayhem. I mean, at one point, I remember this one time I went to bed. It was 8:30, 9 o'clock, and I was out. And I said, you know what? I'm leaving her awake. She was laying there, but she was awake. And I said, I'm not going to wait till she goes to bed. I'm tired. I fell asleep. And I woke up, and she made her way into the master bath, and there was powder, baby powder everywhere. A whole bottle was emptied in the entire master bath. Of course, I'm like furious, and I wanted to smack the girl silly. But I can't smack my princess, so instead I just cleaned it up. And I can't smack her. But it was insane. It was crazy. Yeah, I know I'm weak, but what am I supposed to do? It's my princess. I don't know what kind of princess she is. I don't know if she's a Disney princess, a warrior princess, a darkness princess. Maybe darkness. Maybe some of you can help me out with that. But she's, the flow and all that. It was just, it's difficult to get it going because, and then it just seems like even though it's routine that they come over, it's not in the sense that they have a routine there and they come here, and it's not meshing. And we try to accommodate them a whole lot. Obviously, we feel a little bit of guilt and we try to make them feel at home, and it leads to this chaos. The last thing I'll speak on that's difficult is missing out on so many moments. That's probably the biggest difficulty is missing out on so many moments of their lives. It seems like 1 minute you're helping them potty train, and then they go away and they come back and they're potty trained. They're talking about this music they're playing, this song they're learning in school, and the next thing you know, they're already on to the next one, and you didn't get to fully hear them play whatever their last one was. So that kind of stuff is very difficult. Very difficult because it's like it really feels like 1 minute it's like, oh hey daddy, this boy was picking on me, and you're like, oh really? And then the next time it's like, hi dad, I'm getting married, and it's like, oh okay, well that was just over the weekend. What happened to my little girl? She was just, and then now he's over. So that one's probably the most hurtful because you look back at memories, and sometimes you hope that the other parent takes photos or videos and that they're willing to share them easily. That's very difficult. I mean, sometimes it probably hurts the most. Like, okay, if you miss out, you understand you won't be there for everything, but you want some kind of pictures of some kind of memory of it other than them walking through the door and telling you that they've done something. You want to be able to look back and be like, oh, this was you, and have them tell you about it. But when you're just left without pictures or videos or something, some kind of memento to bring back those memories and at least draw a story out of them, that they can retell to you. That's very difficult. It's tough. It's very tough. That's probably the biggest difficulty of it all. So those are just a few annoyances that frustrate me about being a co-parent or a weekend dad. I heard weekend dad. Somebody, my children's mother, um, my my other co-parent or co-parenter, she said that to me once, and I think she said it as a put down. She called me a weekend dad, but I like that, weekend dad. I feel like I'm a superhero. Like, there's no need to fear. Super dad is here. But trust me, not having your kids 2 days a week is far from being superhero. There's definitely nothing superhero about that. But that's the kind of stuff that we'll be discussing here on this channel. Is just the difficulties of being a co-parent. And like I said before, we'll go over some of the positives later on. But right now, definitely just airing out some of the frustrations and the difficulties of it. So if you guys have any answers to my problems, or if you guys have questions to your own, let me know. Maybe we can discuss them on the future episodes. So again, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, let everyone know. Come to this channel. You can get a hopefully a good laugh, and also some pro co-parenting tips for you weekend dads and weekend moms. Okay, so peace out till next time. Love ya. And I don't have an outro yet, so just like and share and comment and all that other good stuff. Interact however you can. Peace.